Have you ever heard of Raven? He is not just any bird. Raven is a very special creature. He is known in many ancient stories. His feathers are usually black as the deepest night sky, but Raven is much more than his dark feathers. He is incredibly clever. He is a thinker, a planner, a being of great intelligence. He sees problems and he finds ways to solve them. Sometimes his solutions are surprising. Sometimes they are very, very tricky. Raven possesses an amazing ability. He is a shapeshifter. This means he can change his form. He can become almost anything he wishes. One moment he is a bird, soaring high above the trees. The next he might be a human, walking among people. Or he could be a tall pine tree, standing silent in the forest. This power is central to who Raven is. Raven uses his shapeshifting for many important reasons. He uses it to explore the world. Sometimes he uses his power to help people. He sees them struggling and he finds a way to assist. But Raven also has a playful side, a mischievous streak. He enjoys a good trick. He likes to stir things up a bit. Let us journey back in time. A very, very long time ago. The world was not as we know it today. It was a different place, a much darker place. Imagine a world without the sun, no golden light to warm the land, no bright blue sky. There was no moon either, no gentle silver glow to light the darkness. There were no twinkling stars scattered across the night. It was a world of perpetual twilight, an endless, unbroken night covering everything. People lived in this constant gloom. Animals too made their way in the shadows. How did they see? How did they find their food? It must have been very difficult. The darkness would have made everything a challenge. Colors would be muted. Shapes would be hard to distinguish. The world would feel smaller, more mysterious and perhaps a little frightening. This was the reality for the first people. The people of this dark world were often cold. The sun brings warmth, but there was no sun. They longed for light. They yearned to see the beauty of the world around them. They wanted to feel the sun's rays on their skin. The darkness was more than just an inconvenience. Raven, with his keen senses and curious mind, knew things. He had heard whispers, rumors carried on the wind. These whispers spoke of light. They said that light was not gone forever. It was merely hidden, kept secret. An old man, a powerful being, possessed all the light in the world. He guarded it jealously. He kept it locked away from everyone else. This was the source of the world's darkness. One being, hoarding all the brightness. This old man lived in a special dwelling. A lodge it was called. It stood alone, perhaps by a river or deep in the forest. Inside this lodge the old man kept his most precious possessions, his greatest treasures. And what were these treasures? They were the sun, brilliant and warm, the moon with its gentle silvery glow, and all the stars like scattered diamonds. He had them all. He kept them in beautifully carved boxes, hidden from sight. The entire cosmos contained within his home. The old man was not inclined to share his treasures. He liked having the light all to himself. Perhaps he enjoyed its beauty in private, or perhaps he simply did not want others to have it. Raven was renowned for his cleverness. This was not a simple problem. The old man was powerful. His lodge was well guarded. A direct approach would surely fail. Raven needed a plan, a brilliant, cunning plan. How could he get inside that lodge? How could he persuade or trick the old man into revealing his treasure? Raven perched on a branch, his dark eyes gleaming, and he thought. He considered every angle, every possibility. He began to observe the old man's lodge from a distance. He watched the comings and goings. He paid close attention to the old man's daughter. She often went down to the nearby river. She would go there to collect fresh water in a woven basket. She would go there to collect fresh water in a wooden vessel. This observation sparked an idea in Raven's mind. A tiny seed of a plan began to grow. A plan that involved the daughter. A plan that was typically Raven, ingenious and a little bit daring. Raven decided that his bird form would not be suitable for this task. He needed to be subtle. He needed to be unnoticed at first. With his clever plan in mind, Raven took to the air. He flew silently towards the river, the same river where the old man's daughter went to fetch water. He found a spot among the reeds and bushes near the water's edge. He waited patiently. He was very good at waiting when he needed to be. Soon, just as he had observed, the daughter appeared. She carried her water container, walking gracefully towards the riverbank. This was Raven's moment to act. As the daughter bent down to fill her vessel with cool, clear water, Raven made his move. It was a swift and magical transformation. In an instant he was no longer a large black bird. He changed his shape. He became something incredibly small and ordinary. He turned himself into a single tiny hemlock needle, just like the many other needles that might fall from the trees and float upon the water. A perfect disguise, brown, slender, and utterly unremarkable. In due time, the old man's daughter gave birth. It was a baby boy. This, of course, was Raven. Raven in the perfect disguise of an innocent human infant. He looked like any other baby. He had tiny hands and tiny feet. He made baby sounds. But behind those infant eyes was the sharp, clever mind of Raven. The old man was overjoyed. He had a grandson. He doted on the child, completely unaware of the trick being played upon him. He had no idea his new grandson was the famous Shapeshifter. Raven, in his baby form, was an excellent actor. He knew just what to do. He gurgled and cooed. He cried when he wanted attention or food. He would point his little finger at things that caught his eye. The old man, now a proud grandfather, was completely smitten. He adored his grandson. He would do anything to make the baby happy. If the baby cried, the old man rushed to comfort him. If the baby pointed, the old man tried to give him what he wanted. Raven was expertly winning his trust. All the while, baby Raven was observing. Baby Raven continued his act. He would cry with great persistence. He pointed insistently at a particularly large and ornate box. This one seemed special. The old man looked at the box, then at his crying grandson. He seemed reluctant. This box held something very precious. But the baby's cries grew louder. He seemed so distressed. The grandfather's heart melted. He wanted his grandson to be happy, so with a sigh he carefully opened the lid of the big box. What a sight! Inside the box were all the stars, countless tiny, glittering points of light. They sparkled and shimmered. Baby Raven stopped crying immediately. He gurgled with delight. He reached out his tiny hands and played with the stars as if they were marbles. Some of them in his playful grasp escaped. They floated up, through the smoke hole at the top of the lodge. They scattered into the dark sky outside, becoming the first stars the world had seen in a long time. The old man just smiled, happy his grandson was amused. Next, Raven, still in his baby disguise, started to cry for another object. He pointed towards a bundle that held a round, glowing ball. It was the moon. The old man, wanting to keep his grandson content, unwrapped it and gave it to him. The baby Raven cooed and played with the beautiful shining moon. He rolled it across the floor of the lodge. The moment Raven had the sun firmly in his grasp, he knew his time as a baby was over. He could not fly away with such a precious treasure in tiny baby hands. In an instant, he transformed. He shed his human infant disguise. He grew larger. Feathers sprouted. His form shifted back to that of the great black bird. Raven, the magnificent shapeshifter, stood there in his true form, holding the brilliant sun. The old man stared in disbelief. His beloved grandson was gone. In his place stood Raven, the notorious trickster. He was shocked, he was amazed, he was probably quite angry too, but it was too late. Raven held the sun tightly in his powerful beak. With a great beat of his strong wings, he launched himself upwards. He flew straight towards the smoke hole at the top of the lodge. He burst out into the open air, carrying the world's light with him, leaving the dark lodge behind. Raven soared high into the endless dark sky. He flew higher and higher, the stolen sun radiating warmth and light even through his beak. Then, when he was far above the world, he did what he had planned all along. He released the sun. Raven's daring act of stealing the sun changed the world profoundly and forever. He did not just bring daylight. By releasing the stars and the moon from the old man's lodge, he also decorated the night sky. He set the rhythm of day and night. He made the world a much more vibrant and livable place for everyone. His actions brought warmth, allowed plants to grow, and helped people and animals to see and thrive. The world was reborn in light. This incredible story of Raven and the sun is very ancient. It is a treasured narrative. It comes from the indigenous peoples who have lived for thousands of years on the Pacific Northwest coast of North America. Peoples such as the Haida, the Tlingit, the Tsimshian, the Kwakwaka'wakw, and many others tell versions of this tale. For these cultures, the story is not just entertainment, it is a vital part of their heritage. It explains the origin of the light that sustains all life.